Welcome to the Mindset Connection podcast. Thank you for tuning in for episode 36. We are your hosts, Jennifer Clearwaters and Cindy O'Connell. And in every episode, we are showcasing change makers doing extraordinary things in the field of mental health and wellness. So as we move through 2026, we just want to remind all our viewers and listeners, please subscribe to our podcast. There's lots of people, including us, that watch podcasts and we don't subscribe. So we're guilty too, but it really does help us get the message out. And today we are welcoming someone who is already fully immersed in and very established in the field of mental health, wellness, and beauty. We are welcoming Sandra Silverman to our podcast. So thank you for being here and taking your time. And she's checking in from Cabo today in a nice warm area as opposed to where we are in New Jersey. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. So let me, if you're not familiar with Sandra's work, Sandra is a best-selling author, and we're going to talk about her book and her new book coming out. She's the host of the Party's Over podcast. She's a model, a lifestyle influencer, and a lover of all things in beauty and wellness. So Sandra's story began when she was in her 40s and felt that she didn't really feel great about herself and wanted to make a change. So she became determined to turn the clock back and started trying everything she could to do so. So Sandra has tried skin products, treatments, procedures, surgeries, from Botox to fillers and facelifts and breast augmentations. You name it, Sandra said, I'm willing to try it. So knowing that beauty also comes from within, Sandra has also been immersed in holistic medicine, life coaching, nutrition, and personal training. So Sandy shared her anti-aging secrets in her book, From Bullshit to Botox, A Rebel's Guide to Self-Love and Eternal Youth. So if you not familiar, it's a really good book. We're going to get to it later on in the podcast. It's so much information in there. Sandra's also been featured in People magazine, where she shared the truth about procedures she's done, ones that were worth it and worth the time and the effort, the pain, the money, and ones that were not. So we're going to get more into Sandy's story, so we'll jump right in. So again, thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm excited.
All right. So tell us your story. What was it? What was the impetus in your 40s that all of a sudden you said, I need to take some action? And what was going on in your life at the time? And did that have any influence on that decision?
It did. So to start from the beginning, the first procedure was when I was 27. And it just kind of had just gone from there. So I met my ex. I was 26 when we started dating. And a month into the relationship, he told me that my body was soft and I needed to go to the gym. So that was the first time in my life that I thought that there was actually something wrong with me. And I think subconsciously, I started doing these procedures and surgery. So the first one was when I was 27. And then it just kind of went from there. I'd done breast augmentation, rhinoplasty. When I was pregnant with my son, I gained like 60 pounds. So I did body sculpting after that. And then when I hit my 40s, I was just miserable. I looked in the mirror and I'm like, who are you? Because you were going through perimenopause, menopause, and things change with your body where you don't get away with the same things that you could get away with in your 20s and 30s. Like you really have to step up. You have to change like your diet, change your workout routine, so many different things. And my hormones were going crazy. So I didn't quite understand what was going on. I was still in the marriage. The marriage was very unhappy. And I realized at that moment, like, I really need to figure this out because I don't love myself. I'm not loving the marriage that I'm in. Everything around me is toxic. So that's when I really started to get more serious. And because I had done so many procedures and treatments, I wanted to share those with others. And that's how we started writing the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I love that you explain that, especially from, I can tell you that there's going to be many listeners who hear what you said about getting that procedure at 27 because your husband told you that you didn't look good.
And
Like,
and also that you actually said, I didn't love myself.
Yeah.
Like you recognized I didn't love myself. Did you love yourself more after you had the procedures?
No, and that was the issue. So,
Yep.
yeah, so the first part of the book is all about external beauty.
Yes.
And I realized, okay, I've done, I don't know, 25, however many surgeries are in there, and realized, okay, I'm still not happy. And
Mhm.
that was probably the biggest message for your listeners, where you can do all these things. And if you internally aren't happy, it doesn't really matter what you're doing on the outside.
That's
Exactly.
right. Yeah,
Exactly.
it
And that's a
doesn't matter.
beautiful message for people to hear,
It is.
especially when people look at you and they see, look at this gorgeous woman. Uh,
Thank you.
Yeah.
so I think people, that is the true message. We always ask people, what's the takeaway?
Yeah,
The
there you
guests,
go. There's a
but you
takeaway.
gave it to us in the first
Yeah,
5 minutes.
because it is true. Some people are going to look at you and go, "Well, she looks beautiful. Life must be perfect, right?" So now that you're actually saying like it didn't fix the inside. So
Mhm.
No.
when you were making all of these changes, how did your friends and family react to it? Because I bet you there were probably some that were like couldn't understand why you were doing any of this because they probably said you look fine to begin
Mhm.
with.
Nobody reacted well to all of the surgeries. Just became a joke, like, oh, another surgery. And fast forward when I finally decided to get my facelift, of course, everybody tried to talk me out of the facelift, which I actually am happy. That was the best one probably that I've done. And my mom tried to talk me out of it. Everybody tried to talk me out of it. But in reality, I feel like at 47, that was the perfect age because I did have a lot of sagging skin, like the jowl area was really bad. And now I've been able to maintain in my 50s without another facelift. I can
Mm-hmm.
just maintain with like some filler and threads and just super non invasive.
Yeah. So you think that the facelift was your most impactful one, the one that you felt like was the best for you?
I think so. When I look back, that's my favorite surgery, and I do not regret that, but there are a few that I do regret, and I had to do other procedures and surgeries to fix those.
Can you tell us what they were?
Yeah, so liposuction in my stomach and knees was a disaster. Women have to be very careful with liposuction, especially as we get older, because what it did for me in the stomach area, it sagged my skin to the point where I actually needed a mini tummy tuck. And I
Mm,
hadn't needed one even after childbirth. The knees as well, she took out too much fat and it sagged the skin. So now I have to do threads and then sometimes I have to put filler in. So it's like an uphill battle. My stomach I was able to fix with a 6-hour tummy tuck surgery. Definitely
wow.
regret those. And I did a procedure a long time ago before the facelift with a doctor in New York, and it's called the Y lift, where he takes a lot of filler with a cannula and he goes in and kind of sculpts your face, but he's going like deep into the tissue. That the first time I did with him was fine. And then I repeated it 2 years later and he literally pie faced me. So now my face is round like a pie and that caused the skin to sag even more because he put so much filler in the wrong places.
The
So those
same
Wow.
things
doctor?
you have
The
to be
same
very
doctor
careful.
did that?
Yeah. So he did not the same doctor that did the liposuction. This person did it's called the Y lift.
Right.
And so women will go into his office in New York and he'll use like 25 vials of Restylane or whatever filler, Juvederm, whatever he uses with a cannula. And he's going in and lifting with all this filler like in the
So
tissue
you just
area.
Mm.
became like a pumpkin, probably, right?
Well, the first time it was fine because he sculpted me. The second time I repeated 2 years later and I don't know, he changed the technique and turned my face into a pie, and it was a disaster. It took a year to get the filler out. Then at this point, my face is sagging even more, and then I got the facelift after that.
Ah, okay. That makes
Wow,
sense.
so
Yeah.
hard. So what are some words of wisdom that you would give to women, and men too, but mostly women who are hearing you and going, "Oh, I think I might want to try something, but I don't really know."
I think for women who've never done anything, I would go with the non-invasive treatments first,
Mhm.
like microblading your eyebrows, eyelash extensions, dermaplane your face. So you're just taking off, a little bit of the peach fuzz and the dead skin from your face. If you need a laser, like let's say that somebody has wrinkles, but they don't need they're not sure that they want to get a facelift or something like that, I would say like a CO2 laser, which is it's pretty strong and that takes away, some of the fine lines and resurfaces the skin, just depending on what their skin looks like. I would start with those things first before trying any type of surgery because it's scary. But this way they start with something non-invasive just for a little like enhancement. Maybe the lip enhancement if they don't want to do filler in their lips, an eye enhancement, which is just like a little like thin line. So this we're talking about permanent makeup.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
some people like the permanent makeup for the lips because it defines the lips without actually getting, Botox or I'm sorry, filler.
Yeah. So starting small,
I would say
yeah.
start small and then just go from there. And then if they're happy, get Botox, try a little bit of filler, maybe threads if they go to the right injector. And then if they decide, okay, I'm ready for something more.
Hmm. Thank you for that.
So, when you started to work on the inside, so when did you decide, oh, I need to do some, I'm not sure. Did you go for mental health therapy? Did you just go with a nutritionist? I know you had a trainer, but so what was your game plan for the inside?
So it first started during COVID where I had done all these procedures and I still looked super puffy. So my face was always puffy, my body I was carrying so much inflammation. And I didn't understand why. Now looking back, I know it was because my marriage was so toxic and my body was inflamed all the time. My cortisol levels were high. I was always living in a fight or fight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, during COVID, the world was calm, everybody was in their house. So my trainer would come over every day and we just decided to start doing some lymphatic work and just because we had extra time, the lymphatic work helped so much. So at that point, I wasn't puffy anymore. I was still in the toxic marriage, but my body and my face started to look differently. And so I wrote about that in the book because I feel like lymphatic work is very important.
Hmm.
So I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there have no idea what lymphatic work is. Can you show us or tell us what that is?
Yes. So what we did was I used this device. It's called the fascia blaster. And the person that created it, her name is Ashley Black. It's a manual device that you use, and it basically it's like a plastic looking thing. I mean, you could use a pizza roller, you
Mm.
could use anything. And so we started using that and a gua sha. So the gua sha would be just a stainless steel gua sha.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Hmm.
started using that for my face and the fascia blaster for my body, and then the gua sha for like my stomach area. And everything kind of just transformed. All of a sudden now, I'm not puffy anymore, and yeah, the
Amazing.
inflammation's gone.
That's just
But I
crazy.
do that
Yeah.
every day.
So you're saying, do you go towards your heart, away from your heart?
So yeah, all the movements are upward.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start with dry brushing and then use the fascia blaster, use the gua sha on my stomach and gua sha on the face. And it's all like upward movement.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So
Mhm.
that was the first thing. Then what happened?
Yeah. And also for your listeners, it took away the cellulite as well. So if
Oh, that's
they
good to
have an
know.
issue
That's
with
a big one.
cellulite,
That's a big
yeah,
one.
it takes away the cellulite. So basically, if you are on the right diet where you're eating enough protein, which would be like for me 100 grams a day plus the weight training and the lymphatic, my cellulite disappeared.
Wow. That's really
Yeah.
good to
Yeah.
know.
And what I love about this is that you could do this yourself.
Right. It was,
Yeah.
I mean,
it
yeah.
wasn't very
Yeah.
costly to do.
Right.
It's free.
Yeah.
It's
Basically, you just
free.
buy your
Exactly. And what
the
it
tools.
is, Jen and I talk about it all the time. And a lot of the people that we have come on, we talk about practices.
Hmm.
So this is a practice. So every day. And I think that there's something, the self-touch is also important for your
Very
mind and
healing.
body and healing.
I
Yeah,
agree.
Yeah.
exactly.
And you
I
were also
agree.
So,
very dedicated. Like you
yeah,
talk about in the
definitely.
book that you made this like your morning ritual. Like you did
Yes.
it every day. And that's kind
Every
of,
day.
that's what sometimes where people fall off. Even now, we just finished the month of January. People make resolutions and then very few actually follow through, but you have to commit to actually doing the work. And it sounds like you actually did that.
It only works if you're super consistent. And even when I'm on vacation, my trainer comes with me virtually.
Yeah.
So wherever I am, I could be in Europe, she's with me. And even though there's like a time change, I bring bands. So I could be at a beach party or something like that where I go for an hour by myself. I find a place, I'm on the phone with her virtually with my bands.
Yep.
So I don't stop, I don't take breaks because even if you take like a 2 week break, you lose muscles and it's like you're starting all over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're preaching
Consistency.
to the choir
Yeah,
here
we do.
because
I've
Jen
got
and I
my
every day,
trainer too.
every day we
I
exercise.
had her this
so,
morning virtually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So that was the first step. And
Yeah.
when did you actually start to see results or feel like the inflammation is receding?
Right away. The first week.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Right
good to
away.
know.
And that's when I saw it working and I was no longer puffy. And I mean, my body needed it because I was living in flight or fight like every day of my life. My anxiety level was so high. And I didn't realize that until I got out of the marriage completely a year and a half ago, where it was to the point where my whole body would shake, my head would shake, my body would shake. My friends thought that there was something like I had like a disease, like I had
Mm-hmm.
Parkinson's or something.
Neurological.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, why
Mm-hmm.
does she shake like this? So then moving forward, my ex and I had our third separation. Now we're in 2023. And he left for 5 months. I was a mess. I was miserable. And I started working with a life coach. And the life coach explained to me that you have to get this toxic person out of your life. You have to get your toxic friends out of your life. It's so
Mm-hmm.
important. And we ended up getting back together for another year, which was a disaster. And then finally separated for the fourth time in July of 2024. And that's basically when my life completely changed
Yeah,
for
because
the better.
you don't realize is you know I'm a therapist too. It's how you and I met, but it's
Yes.
just that constant low grade, not even low grade, constant stress on your body every single day. You see what an impact it takes on your physical health, your emotional health. Like I wonder how if you look back now when you finally left and the marriage was finally done, if your nervous system just was able to start to reset.
It was.
Yeah.
My nervous system was able to reset and I'm completely different now. I wouldn't even be able to accomplish half of what I'm doing now if I'd stayed in that marriage
No.
because I was just like, it was like I said, flight or fight every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't focus on anything but just keeping my head above water.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Sandy, I think you have a lot of insightful things that you're saying. I'm like writing
Or
down.
writing it down.
And what you just said is so true. You couldn't even accomplish, and you're very accomplished. You're writing books. You have a podcast. You have
Thank you.
children. I mean, obviously, you're working out every day.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a very. We don't like to use the word busy. We consider it a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
We like to use. You have a full life.
Full life.
And
Yeah.
you're
Thank you.
yes, which is a compliment, and you can even see in your whole demeanor and your body that you are just in a relaxed state.
Yeah. Yeah. And think
Yeah.
about it. If you are
Yeah.
in that fight or flight state all the time, you're projecting that energy onto your kids, onto your clients, onto everyone who's around you could probably sense like something's wrong.
Yeah,
Something's wrong.
everybody thought so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you had your friends
Yeah.
thinking that you might have had something neurologically wrong with you.
Yeah, no, they
So,
did because now that they see that, and these are friends that I met in Miami, not my friends that from Maryland. I
yeah.
lived in Miami for 9 years, but they met me during that state. So they just thought, oh, there must be something wrong with her.
She's
And
always like
now
this.
they see, yeah,
Yeah.
now they see that I'm completely different.
Yeah.
Right.
So like that leaving your marriage really probably gave you just a chance to start over.
Yes.
Yeah, which is
Yes.
wonderful.
I'm very lucky that this marriage ended and actually he left for the fourth time. I wouldn't have left, which is even more sad that I would continue this type of life for myself, that I didn't care about myself to that, degree that I would allow this. But he left for the fourth time. And when he left again, because it was a pattern, like he would definitely have come back again,
Mm-hmm.
I decided to take charge and file for divorce.
Yep. And
Okay.
now look back someday, you could thank him for leaving because he did what you wouldn't have done, but you were able to
Yes.
start a fresh life then without that
And-
stress constantly every day.
Yeah, and I think that we often talk about this as well, about giving yourself grace because you just weren't in that spot
Yeah.
to be
No.
to have that mental strength to say enough.
Yeah.
So
I was
everything's
scared.
timing. Yes,
Of course, it's scary.
Of
It's scary. It's a
course.
huge life change. And
Yeah.
also you have children. So, it's not just, like your 20s and you're breaking up with a boyfriend. It's a lot more than that.
No,
So,
definitely.
yeah. So let's talk about your podcast. We just talked about this before we started airing. Your podcast, The Party's Over. Can you tell us how it got started and, what is it all about? I know we had talked about, I was grateful enough to be part of the conversation on one of your episodes. And I was saying my piece was talking about relationships and attachment styles. And you also had a guest on who was talking about cosmetic dentistry. And it was like, how do they go together? And like, so, it's wonderful. And I see that every episode, that you've put out are just, you don't know what you're getting. And that's what's it makes it fun, because you're not really sure. There's no real rhyme or reason as to what's coming on, and that makes it like very exciting.
Thank you.
So how did you come up with the idea for this?
So we came up with the idea just kind of basing it around my books. So the first segment is all about reverse aging. So we try to stick with guests or topics in that arena. Then the second segment is about toxic relationships. So my second book, which will be published this year, is From Bullshit to Broken Hearts. And that book is
Mm,
all about my marriage and dating at 53, and same format as the first book with experts and different topics, but written in a more humorous way, so it's an easy read. So that's how we came up with segment B, the toxic relationship part. And then this third segment is a spill it. So somebody writes in, and
hmm.
then my friend Vita and I talk about it. And it's pretty funny usually.
It is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's been fun watching the topics
Thank
that come
you.
up. So yeah. So now that you're talking about, like, tips for dating, in your 50s, like what's a words of advice, because you know that there are lots of women, and I know this too because I work with these people in my practice that have gone through terrible relationships, oftentimes very emotionally, physically abusive
Mhm.
relationships, and they're kind of just emotionally numb, or they can say, I've been married for 20 years or 30 years and I'm in my 50s and I've never dated before, or now I have to go back. I haven't been on a date since I was in my 20s. Like, what do I
Right.
do? So what would you, what advice? Because, I also talk to young women and men who are doing things on the dating apps, and they'll come back and say, like, dating is crazy for people in their 20s and 30s. So what's it like for people in their 50s?
It's a jungle, honestly. So
Oh, no.
I mean, it really is. But my advice is to not be scared. I started dating right away. So after this fourth separation, I met somebody 2 weeks later. I was introduced to him, even though it didn't work out and he was a lot younger than me. It was fun. So it
Hmm.
kind of got me over that initial hump. And so my advice would be just to start, like, to not be scared. It can be scary, and it is a jungle out there, and you do have to learn how to date all over again, and you are gonna make mistakes. But I don't know anything about being on a dating app because I haven't done that, so I just meet people organically, but I do travel a lot and I go out a lot. So for me, it hasn't really been hard to meet people, but my best advice would be to not be scared, to not hibernate in your house because you are scared.
That's
Just
right.
go for it because it's just a learning process. Like, you're learning all over again, like, human behavior and how things work and how to navigate with different men. And it's different now too because now that there's social media, there's so many options for these guys. And when I dated at 26, we were in the 1990s where we didn't have social media and
Mm-hmm.
people went out and they met each other in a bar, or they were at a party, or they were introduced. And I feel like because there weren't as many options, it was definitely easier, but you just have to learn, like, what dating's like now in this era, which is completely different, but I wouldn't be scared. I would just go for it.
Yeah. And you know what? Cindy and I are all about energy. Like, we can sense
Mm.
energy, and you have such you have such positive energy. We can feel it coming through. So
Thank
do
you.
you feel like now that you're in such a different space in life that you're attracting different types of men?
That is a very good question because I was attracting the same type of man. And I realized that after I started working with a relationship coach. She's a therapist slash coach, and she was actually a guest on my show.
Mm-hmm.
So then I hired her. And we went back, to my childhood and how I ended up with my ex to begin with. And every guy, I'm not joking, has been an extension of my ex.
Yeah.
So I had a broke version of him, an Arab version, an Indian version, a Mexican version, Hamptons version. Everybody's been a version of this
Yeah.
guy. And I realized that, so the last guy that I was seeing was the Mexican version. And so now I've realized, okay, she's completely right. And I'm probably not going to date again until I really fix whatever the internal issues that I have, because I don't want to keep attracting the same type of person.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. The reason why I ask you that, because this is what I talk to my patients about too. And
Yes.
oftentimes that they'll go out, and that if they haven't healed a piece of them that needed attention, they're often attracting the same type of person or version of them.
Same person
right?
over and over again.
Oh no. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
hoping that
great.
you'll be able to work with your therapist, and then the
Yes.
next time that you're dating, you're going to find someone totally different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So we talked a little. We're still talking about that inside, and this is also that inside work. Even the dating.
Yep.
But
Mhm.
what about nutrition wise? What did you change, and what's your diet like? And I use diet not to lose weight. Diet as your meal plan
And you're
for
nourishing your body.
Yeah, how you're
Mhm.
nourishing your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you putting in every day?
I'm a vegetarian, so it's a little bit more difficult for me to consume the amount of protein that I need.
Mm.
So, what I do in the morning when I'm in Miami, I eat a protein donut, which is made out of egg whites, and that's 30 grams. I have a protein shake, which is 40 grams. And so that's 70 right there.
Mm-hmm.
Then after the gym, I eat eggs and usually like a hash brown and 3 eggs. So that puts me at 100 grams. So then after that, I don't have to stress about my protein intake. I can eat salads, I can eat whatever I want, just, to balance my diet.
Mm.
So I'm getting those 100 grams a day. That's my main focus. And besides like vegetables and things like that, but I also inject vitamins. So I do a big vitamin injection every other day that consists of B, C, magnesium, fat burner, glutathione. So that helps a lot since I don't eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
And then plus I take my supplements and peptides. So from a health standpoint, I'm very healthy for not consuming meat and fish.
Yep.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm. So are you giving yourself the injections?
I am.
I think that's
Wow.
more normal now with all
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
peptides and all the
No, I mean, I know
peptides.
people would be asking that too.
Yeah.
So, are you giving yourself the peptides too, or just the?
I am.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't like IVs. So the one injection, the vitamin injection, that's a regular injection. That's not subcutaneous.
Right.
Mhm.
The peptides are easy and the NADs, they're just subcutaneous, just like an insulin needle.
Mhm.
But I do those. So I cycle the peptides and I take the vitamin injection and NAD every other day. And then the
Okay.
peptides are just cycled. So sometimes a month on, month off, depending on which one I'm on at that time.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So, what is your self care like? Like, what do you do for your self care?
In terms of like my facial care or just in general?
Just
Something that's just for you.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
doesn't have to. It just keeps you
I mean,
you going.
And honestly, when I ask the question about self care, I mean your inside. I can see that you take
You're already
care of
working
the
on the
outside.
outside.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but you could, if you want to talk about your skincare method, I'm sure
Yeah.
other people
No,
would
like so
love to
I
hear it.
usually I do talk to a spiritual healer periodically. I met her in Sedona and she's been very helpful. So I talk to her sometimes. I'm not good about meditating, even though I know that I should. I've only gone to meditation a few times. I like to walk. That gives me like time for myself
Yeah.
and time to think. So I do that. So that's basically it. I
Mhm.
don't.
But you are making time
Yeah,
for
you're making
yourself.
time for
Yeah.
yourself, and
Yeah.
that's the most
Yeah, it's
important
very
I
thing.
make a lot of
important.
time for
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
I do that. And I like to, like I said before, stay consistent with my routine.
Very important.
Yeah, definitely.
So I wanted just to talk about your first book. Like I said, I read
Okay.
this book and I thought I really loved how you laid out, like, all of the, because it also, when you see it and you're talking about all the things that you've had done, it can be a little overwhelming, especially if there's someone reading it that's not done anything, maybe
Yes.
doesn't understand what all of these things are. So I really liked how you laid the book out with like the procedures that you got done. Then you would explain what they were. And you were really, really big on the point of you have to, I think you said it in every procedure, you have to do your research. You have to do your
Yes.
research. And even as you said earlier, some probably people that you researched and actually went to, you had a good experience and then you had a not so good experience. So
Mhm.
the other part that I really liked about it is that you included a lot of chapters and a lot of excerpts from the experts. So you would say, I found this person, I really like this person. This is the person who worked on me, but now you can hear it from her or him. And, where did you get the idea to include the experts, information?
I thought that was really important because I didn't want somebody to read the book and just think that I thought I was the expert because I'm not. So I wanted
Yes.
them to see like my point of view from the procedure, but also hear it from the expert themselves.
Hmm.
So they weren't reading it just thinking, oh, this person just did all these procedures and it's just from her point of view.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's the one thing that I got in the takeaway is that you couldn't have said it more. Like, you can't just go to anyone. Like, even if, because I think like even maybe a less invasive procedure, someone might go, oh, I can do that at a med spa because they're everywhere now.
Right.
Right. And you were saying like, no, like it doesn't
No.
matter where you are or how convenient it is. You have to look up these people and make sure that they are licensed and that they've done this procedure multiple times. And you can't like you even if it's a small procedure, I know that you had said that too, whether it's something that's small or something that is very costly, you still have to research your professionals. So
100% because there's so many people out there for like, let's use microblading as an example. You can get certified in like a 3 or 4 day
yeah.
program as opposed to somebody like I go to who studied for 6 months in Brazil and she, has a lot of experience.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yep. We have that in our industry too. That people can
Oh,
become a yoga teacher in, a matter of weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So we ask these questions to every guest that comes on the show.
Okay.
So how do you view failure?
I view it where you it's something that taught you a lesson and you learn from it.
Yep. That's what we
And
say
and
too.
this is yeah, we do too. But
Okay.
I have to laugh because now, yeah, 32 people later, every single person that we have on, we know how to pick them because everybody says the same thing.
Oh,
And
really?
yes, and I could
Yeah.
tell in a slightly different way, but they say I learn from failure. So,
Mhm.
what are your three most important strengths?
I'm loyal, honest, and caring.
Yeah.
Definitely
Okay. Yeah.
you could tell that from the book for
Absolutely.
sure.
And you can tell
Yes.
that even just in talking to you. I
Yes.
feel like Jen and I, again, the energy, we're
We can
good
sense good
judges of
energy.
character.
Hmm.
And what's
Thank
going
you.
well in your life?
All of this is going really well. The book's doing extremely well now. I'm super excited about the second book. I'm having a lot of fun with the podcast. So all of those things are going well. The only part that's not great at this point would be, my love life, which that will come later. But I feel like I needed to go through all these experiences that I've been through in the past year and a half after the separation to really work on myself. Like everything's been like a learning experience. So when you talk about failure, yes, I've had some failures the past year and a half, but I'm also learning so much from them.
Exactly.
So I don't hopefully make the same mistakes again in the
Yeah.
future.
Right.
So maybe you could tell our listeners, because like I said, I know that there's going to be many people that hear your story and they're going to resonate with that, with the separation or coming out of a
Mhm.
really toxic marriage. So what are you doing to help heal yourself? Because I know that, once you leave the marriage, it's like, then it's the real work that has to begin. And there are many, women and men that come out of toxic relationships and they struggle. Even though they're happy that they're not in that relationship anymore, it's still really hard.
I think it's really important if you can to have a third party help you just figure out like where how you were damaged, why you would put up with, whatever you put up with for so many years, like what those wounds are that you have and fix them. Because, like I said, that's what I'm working on now because I'm going to keep repeating over and over again if I don't. So
Mm.
I
Exactly.
think it's really important. And I know that I can't do this on my own. Like I need help.
Right.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people aren't to the stage where they're ready to ask for help. So I'm really
Mhm.
glad that you're just saying this because someone's going to look at you and be like, oh, she's famous. She has this beautiful life. Okay, well, she can handle everything. And you're saying, no, I'm still a person and I
No,
still need
no,
help
I
too.
don't.
Yeah.
Trust me. It's
Yes.
a process every day. Like nothing is perfect.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
did you find healing in writing your second book? Because you
Yes,
said you're
I found so
talking.
much healing writing that. And my ex is not happy about the book. And I had put something on Instagram the other day. Somebody had asked a question and I answered it. And I referred to him as a donkey. And I said, I took this person he was a donkey. I turned him into an Arabian horse. And at the end of the day, he's still a donkey. And he's very upset with me. So he called me yesterday and he's like, how could you call me a donkey? Do you really feel that I'm a donkey? And I was like, I do. Because you're fast forward, you've been in therapy for a year and a half and you're still making the same mistakes and still doing the same patterns with somebody else. So he's not happy about the second book, but I found a lot of it was very therapeutic for me to write.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I hear from a lot of people, not just with marriages, but sometimes with traumatic childhoods and traumatic experiences. And, just the act of writing, which Cindy and I talk about a lot on our show, are big proponents of journaling. The act of just getting the thought out of your head is like a first step towards healing.
Yes.
So we'll be excited. When will your new book be out?
September.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll be ready for it.
Thank you.
All right. Final questions. Is there something you want to change? It's a yes or no.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What's holding you back?
I'm working on it right now. So I just want to change like how I am in relationships and not in romantic relationships. I don't want to be as passive as I've been with other people. So I
Okay.
feel like I was very passive in my marriage and I see the same type of behavior now with people that I've dated and I'm going to change that.
Okay.
I love
All
that.
right. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I think you're very insightful. You definitely self-reflect,
And
which
definitely
is
honest.
yeah, and honest.
Right.
Yeah. When you
These
said
are
your
hard
3
things to put
strengths,
out.
I was like, those are her strengths.
Yeah.
I mean, we know you have many more, but it's good to act from your strengths.
But it's
so.
really nice too to hear it because people, you're out in the public and you're an influencer and you're out there, and
Yes.
it's for you to be as honest as you're being. That's going to really send a very genuine message to people who are listening to this, because they're going to be, you're going to think like, it would be very easy for you just to say, oh, like life is great, everything's great, relationships are great, even my friends are great, and you're saying no. Like I have to, you might have to change the people you're dating, but also look at some of the people who are surrounding you and saying, are they healthy for me?
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right.
All right.
Where can people find you? And, if they're interested in the book, which I hope they are, or the podcast or anything else that you're doing, like where can people find you?
I would love for your listeners to reach out if they want. So my Instagram is Sandra Lena Silverman. I have a website, Sandra Lena Silverman. My book From Bullshit to Botox right now is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Mm-hmm.
And the show, Parties Over Show, is on YouTube and all the podcast platforms.
Yep.
All right.
So we'll put all of that
Yep.
in the show notes and make sure
Perfect.
people know how to find you.
Yeah.
So is there anything that we didn't get to that you would like to share with our listeners?
No, just for your listeners, just to really figure out how to love themselves, whatever journey they need to go on to accomplish that. Because if they don't love themselves, like other people aren't going to treat them the way that they deserve to be treated.
100%, right? Yes. What a
Love it.
wonderful last statement
Yes.
to leave people
Yeah.
with.
Thank
So
you so
uplifting.
much.
Yes. Yeah, Sandy, thank you so much for being here
Thank
with
you
us
for inviting
today.
me.
We're
Thank
so
you so much.
excited
This
to
was
have you, and we're looking forward to listening to the podcast. I'm looking forward to the book coming out, and I'm really excited about everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and we will be back with another episode of another change maker doing amazing things in health and wellness. And Cindy always has our final words of wisdom.
So remember to pause, breathe, and respond instead of reacting, and to do hard things. And you are obviously doing hard things.
Yes, you are. So thank you so much, Sandy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.